Hi guys, Dorothy here with Done by Dorothy. We are here today. We're beginning on our Springtime in Paris journal. I wanted to thank everybody for, all of their kind remarks and all of that, and apologize for the delay in getting back with it. But we are back, and we were going to go hard and heavy the next couple days. So we will knock it out of the park. So we are working with the Junk by Steph. And I'm still having problems with my throat, so again, I apologize for that. We're working with the Junk with Steph kit, Springtime in Paris. It is absolutely gorgeous. So I noticed as I was going through, like some of the, I would say more plain backgrounds, the ones that don't have images, on them or anything, even they are very busy, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And so I wanted some more toned down, sort of muted backgrounds to use with it. And I was going through some stuff this week, and I actually found a kit that I had made quite a while ago when I made my Legacy Family kit. I had uploaded it prior to that. It's called Watercolor Wash, so it is in the Done by Dorothy Etsy store. I'll put the links below in the description box because I know it's so much easier, to be able to go down there and just click on it and go. And ever if you can't find one of my, if you can't get to my store in Etsy, because sometimes Etsy, when you try to search, it's crazy, you can go to www.donebydorothy.com and access my Etsy store there. So, Watercolor Wash, it's more of a, it's sort of a varying kit. There's muted tones, and then there's what I call my watercolor splashes. This is part of the muted tones. So there's like a muted purple that's almost like a greenish brown, a blue, a pink, and I mean there's a peach color, and these go just along with the kit so well. This is what I call the splatter. And so there's different ones, like the yellow, it just goes great. There's a green, like this right here. I was shocked when I pulled out. I was sort of comparing to see, and like, there's like the greens, there's the yellows, there's the pinks, there's the purples. So I mean, it just matches up really well. Let me set to the side here. So we are going to be using some of these in the background. Like there's that yellow, a bold yellow. It just goes with the Springtime in Paris kit. And so, there are some darker ones, and then like the more lighter washed faded pastel colors. So yeah, and I love that blue. So we are going to be using some of this along there, and you can find that in, like I said, in my Etsy store, and it's fairly inexpensive, extremely inexpensive. And then we have the Junk with Steph Paris kit. So I will be pulling from both of those as we go. And today we're going to be working on snippet bites. And snippet bites are, everybody knows what snippet is. You do a big long snippet and all of that. Snippet bites are just basically a multi-make cluster. For me, at least that's what I do. So I actually like to use, this is calculator, like the tape you put in your calculator machines. You can buy it at Goodwill's, thrift stores all over the place. So I'm just gonna tear some of it off, and I like using it because then everything's right there, and I can roll it up and wrap it up and pull it. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna create multi clusters on it, but we are going to space them so when we need them, we can just rip them and have a snippet bite. So here we go. So I want to first start with, what do I want to start with? I think I want to start with like a text background. So let me grab some of my text pages. Oh, this one might be really nice to use. I actually think I will use this. It's actually like an index page, so I really like that. And there's really no rhyme or reason to this. So, you know, I'm just going to take my ruler and I'm going to measure my strip, which I think is like 2 1/8. Oh, it's 2 1/4. So I'm not going to do this to be particular, but let me reach in my drawer here and grab a pencil. So I'm going to measure off, and I'm not even going to worry about this. I think that's sort of cool on there, so I'm going to leave that on there. So I'm just going to mark here at the top. Let's see, I'm going to go 2 1/4, and let's see, 1. Woo, buddy, I went brain dead there for a minute. Okay, so 1, there's 2 1/4, 1/4, 1, 2. Yeah, so we'll get about 3 strips off here. And then I'll go down here at the bottom and I'll do the same thing. And this is just me being goofy. I mean, you don't have to actually measure it out if you don't want to. It's neither here nor there. Let's see, 1, 2. This is just probably me being silly, but okay. And then we've got that. Okay, then I'm just going to lay my ruler down, line up my lines, and again, it doesn't have to be even. You don't have to worry about that. And then I'm just going to, and I'm not going to worry about the rough edge because, yeah, that's just the way it is. So since I'm going to use this, and it's almost like, what is the word I want to, you know, it's a vertical print, not so much all over, but it's very columny, I guess is the word that I want to use. It, you know, it's not random like book pages. And this is just an index page out of an old encyclopedia. And this part I'll throw to the side because I'll use that somehow, and we're done. So I have that. And I'm going to just pull out my glue stick. And let me grab an excess page. And I'm just going to use, yeah, a random encyclopedia page because I can fold it over on itself and use it for a pocket later. So I'm not going to worry about that. So then I'm just going to put my glue on there. And again, I'm not going to worry about it being perfect. And this is just going to create my base. I'm just going to get it stuck down there. So I'll start there. And I'm going to go a little bit out past the tape. And this just creates a nicer base where you don't have to worry about it, like, you know, being so, because this is really thin and fragile, but it's, you know, great to use as a starting point. And again, I'm not, you know, being super particular about this. I'm going to go ahead and use this one with the dots, the rugged end on it, because I love the way that looks. And I'm going to go ahead and tear off a little bit more of a section here and add it on here just because that'll let me put those two pieces together and use my other piece. So I don't really measure, just sort of guess where it goes. And I mean, you can ink this up if you want to ink, you know, the background up, but again, it's just going to be the background, so. And you could use a variety of different, you know, pages in the background if you wanted to, music paper and such and so forth. And then this little extra on the end, I'm just going to fold it over here. Well, I'll just sort of rip it off here. I was going to fold it over and rip it, but that's fine. Okay. So we've got our base strip. Okay, then I want to put some extra other things here. So I've got some of my dried wax paper that I've dyed that I'm going to use. I've got some doilies that I've tea dyed, coffee dyed. I've got just some coffee filters, you know, just a mixture. So I'm going to, let me just throw one of these out. And I've got some was tissue paper that's got text on it. So I'm going to just tear some of it off to use. Throw that in the pile, tear some of my yellow off. And again, you know, I'm being random. There is a lot of yellow in this page as well as the blue. And I want to grab some pink, so give me just a second to grab. If I can find one that's sort of pink toned here in my drawer. Trying to find I have a sort of a pinky purple here, so I'll just grab some of the pink. So that gives us a nice, and this is one of the square coffee filters is what it is. So I've got a ton of things there that I can lay on it. So then I'm just going to start randomly. I'm going to just tear these into pieces. I'm not even going to care about the shape because I'm just going to build that muted base underneath of it. And, you know, it's really cool because if you get a bunch of these going, then, you know, you can do a lot of little different things out of it. And I just, you know, randomly, whatever it is. And I mean, you can, you know, size it up to what you want it to be after, you know, you're going to lay it down. And again, I'm going to do the same thing with my doily. So now I just have all those random pieces. So I'm just going to start, and I'm not going to cover everything up because, I mean, obviously I want some of that text to show through. And maybe layer on top of one another, you know, just build a nice layer up. And but you don't want them all to be like, if you're building, you know, as you go, you don't want them all on the same layer. So, you know, you don't want all your text smashed on the bottom or, you know, like that. You know, you can let some hang out. Let it hang off the side so you create a more jagged edge. And I'm just going to randomly put this on here. Let me grab a doily. We'll put a doily down here. I'm going to try to mix the doily up and put it in, you know, various places. Because everything looks awesome with the doily hanging off the edge of it. And then, you know, if you have a little piece, just lift it up and stick it in some glue. And this dries clear, so you don't have to worry about it, which makes it nice. And just keep building it up. adding it layer by layer. Let's see, what do I want? Put some text on top here. Okay, and let's add some pink. And I'm not gonna go the whole length because I'll do that after the video, but just a basis. And I mean, you're basically just creating a paper snippet, and then the really cool thing about that is you'll have it ready to go. So when we get ready to make all of our individual elements and stuff, you can just literally rip and tear off and have it ready to go as your base, and have basically, you know, a little bit of a cluster. And I'll do one of those here in a bit. And again, just keep stacking it up. And I know we've did this with our lace we did as a group project. It was really, really fun. I think everybody enjoyed getting their little snippets. And that's a nice long one. That's nice. So your different sizes sort of give it a different look. Okay. So, and you can come back through and you might want to, you know, do a little different. Like I could put a little blue down here on the end and then you just come back and refill any holes you wanted to. So let me put that over the end like that. Maybe a little bit of text hanging off over here. So I mean, you literally can just add to it and fill it up. So I like to do that with the paper and build that bottom. And I know it looks really weird right now, but I promise it will look good when you get done. And I'm just using a glue stick right now because it's just basic. And we add the other stuff, we'll add to it. You can also use napkins and, you know, do different napkins. So we have that. So I want to go back through and I want to throw some of random book page scraps that are just like leftover little book pages. So you have to throw some of those on there. Just to give it a little different vibe. And you can use maps. You can use all kinds of, you know, different things. You can also start with like a solid color on the bottom if you like. I mean, you can add all kinds of different things if you have little, you know, scrapped pieces of any kind. So that's a good start there. Okay. Then I'm gonna go in. I've got this is just some random like crochet type scraps that I've cut up little pieces. There's all kinds of different little just scrap pieces. So I'll pull some of those out. Was looking through my ribbon bin, seeing do I have anything. I think we'll stick with this right now. So I'm gonna grab my Fabri-Tac if I can get it to drain. We shall see. Okay, let me use my other bottle. Let's start with this one on the end because I think it's really cute. Really? Oh my, my, my. Hold on a minute. Let me pop the top here. I thought I had... popped it open, but I have not, and I hate popping these open. They're so hard to get open. So give me a second. Okay. Hopefully that will be enough that I can get some out now. Okay, so. Oh yes, perfect, perfect, perfect. And this is Fabri-Tac that I'm using, and I'm just gonna go around the really solid pieces. If you worked with Fabri-Tac, it is a little messy, but it holds very nicely. Okay, so I'm gonna start this like right here because I think it'd be really neat with like the half a flower on the edge there. So I'm just gonna push those down. So then I'm gonna continue on. I'm just gonna grab some of the big pieces because in the long run it'll be faster to put the big pieces on than a bunch of littler ones. And they all look good, so. And again, hopefully this won't be too messy here. I'm trying to see, maybe make sure I'm in camera here. Let me adjust you up a little bit more. Okay. So let's put this right here. I mean, you don't want it, you know, where it's continue. I mean, if you want it that way, I mean, everybody has different ways they like it, but I like sort of a little bit where there's not, and you have to remember we're going to use this as snippet bites. So you want to have an area where you'll be able to tear off to use for, you know, all your different tags and whatnot, because just a little bit of this on the top of a tag or, you know, on an insert or on an envelope will look so good. Or on a Rolodex card, or I mean, any, because it's just about wide enough you can fit it on a Rolodex card. And I'll show you an example of that. I'm gonna put this right over the text because I think that would look really neat over the text. And we're just gonna continue to add this. I'll add a couple more and then we'll move on. So I mean, you know, I sort of like to do some where there's not as much, some where there's more, because you know, if you're doing a tag, you may want, you know, a big piece of this. But if you're doing, you know, just, you know, the top of an insert or an envelope, you may only want a small one. So, and this came from the crochet that I'm putting on there actually came from a dress that I got from the Goodwill. I think I picked it up for like $1.50. It was on sale, you know, 50% off type thing. And I picked it up and brought it home and just cut it in random bits and pieces. And so like the ones you see that are like flat on the sides are ones that were like on the seams because it was a dress, but it was like a multi-paneled dress. I did it with curtains. You can do it with anything. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop there on that because I mean that's gonna give us 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 5 sort of basic clusters there. Now you could literally tear this off and not put anything else on there and that's still going to look good. However, in the kit, there was a ton. Let me pull them all out here. There was a ton of these little words. So I thought they would be really cute to sort of use them. So there's romance, embrace, journal, create, and I made more than one, so dream. So 1, 2, 3, yeah, there's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I wanted to incorporate, you know, these into everyone. So like this has blue on it, so it would look really cool with blue around it. So I may put it like right there. Well, maybe I want to go this way. And, you know, you can do it in different directions. I actually think I'm going to go like this where I can get a little bit of all three of those. So I'll put that one there. Let's see. I'm going to give that as a big one. So maybe I'll pull this up where I glued it a little bit. Tuck that up underneath with the crochet over top of it a little bit. And that's why it's really cool if you do it like, you know, then I can glue that back down right there. And that'll be really neat with that sort of hanging down over it. Okay, the embrace has yellow on it. So I think I'm going to leave it like right here. This one has dreams. I'm actually going to put it tucked up under the netting here a little bit. Put over like that. And a little bit more basic one there. And then this has pink. So I actually think I'll run this one this way. And I'll pull this up a little bit too. Run that sort of cat corner in there. Okay, so let me pull my glue out. And I'll start down here. Hopefully, can you guys see that? Hopefully I'm in camera for that. I'm just going to put some glue on the back of it. And this one, I actually think I'm going to pull it up here a little bit more. Tuck it up under there. Maybe this way where you can see the... There we go. And put some on the back of this one. Glue it down. Maybe a little bit. Put a couple drops on the doily there so it just sort of sticks and holds. This one. Right there. Let's put a little bit on the back of this where we pulled it up. Okay. I'm going to slide this down. Make sure I can still got you guys in camera. I'm going to put this like this. I'm going to put a little bit extra on the back of there because this is going to stick on top, so it needs a little bit more support. So then sort of push it down a wee bit. Okay, same thing with the create. You know, I like to put a little bit extra if it's going to be on top because they're sort of supporting themselves. And I'm going to put the create sort of hanging off the side there. Push that. Let me put my glue up. Okay, so we will do that. Then I've got this gold, it's gold ribbon. It's $1 roll. You get it at the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to cut some of these little strips off. And I cut this all up all the time, so sometimes I use just one, sometimes I use 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, sometimes I think there's 6 across, no, there's 5 across. Sometimes I use 5 across, sometimes a whole strip. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut some off here. Okay, so that'll do for now. Let me put this to the side. And you know, with being Paris, you got glitz and glam, so I'm gonna cut this one in 2 pieces of 2. So let me Pulling my Fabri-Tac out again here. This is when it gets real fun because I end up sticking my fingers more than anything. I probably need a smaller container. And this one I think I'm just going to lay under the Create. And you can just randomly place those wherever you want to. But I thought, you know, with Paris, you know, you really need that glitz and glam. Now my hand's pulling it up. And then I found what I sort of like to do. I take my ruler and just sort of push it down. Because if I try to do it with my fingers, it sticks. So, I mean, that's just a little glip, but it's just enough to add a little bit of something. Put some up here. I'm going to pop this off and put it right in the middle here. They hear all kinds of trucks outside, so I don't know if they're working on something outside or what's going on. So see, just that a little bit, and I mean that's just a teeny tiny bit off that roll, so I think I'm gonna put one in the center there too because I like the way those look. I can put one down here too. Let me go ahead and put my glue down while I have it. Okay, so let me go ahead and cut this off. Put this here. Let me push those down real good. Hopefully it didn't come off on my finger like it just did because my fingers are getting sticky. Okay, and then over here I think I'm just going to put one up in the corner. Let's go ahead and do a row of 4. Okay, so there we've got our 5 little snippet bites done. So I wanted to give me just a second. I was trying to, I just had them. That's when you can never find something when you just had it. Oh, there they are. So I wanted to pull out a Rolodex card. Sorry. I'm going to grab my vintage photo ink because I want to ink this up really good. And yes, I need to change my sponge again on my ink. And I'm going to be pretty rough with this because I want a lot of that white to go away. Give it more of that vintage look. And we're working on some new things coming up. So yeah, there's that. And then let's see. Let's go ahead and rip this off down here at the bottom. And I just sort of rip around where I want it to be. So like that one's pretty long. Too long for a Rolodex card for me. So this I would probably use on an envelope. So we'll set that aside. This one, however, is perfect for a little Rolodex. So I'm going to come over here, throw some glue down, and then where that paper's on the back, it's going to stick really easy. And I like sticking it where a little bit shows from the side. Throw some on this side. Glue it down right like that, and I've got a Rolodex card and it's ready to go. So you do a strip of those, and do how many ever you think you're going to use for your journal, and you've got them all ahead of time. So there's that. So now I have a doily, and we all love using doilies, and I really like this little one that says journal, so it would be really cute to use. So, and then this one I'm gonna do a little bit different, because I'm gonna grab my ink, because I do have that darkness, and I'm just gonna ink around the edges. And I'll show you in a minute the inking around the edges, which, I mean, you guys know how much attention that draws to something when you ink around the edges of it. And sometimes I sort of lay it down and look, because I may want to put a darker edge on it, and I do want a darker edge on this. And this I'm going to put in the middle. But when I put it in the middle, I'm only going to glue right around the edges, because this is going to create sort of like a little hidden tuck on my doily, which, you're always throwing doilies in to decorate. Or, you could put it on one side. But I'm actually going to put this straight down on. So, let me put it about right there. Not exactly center, but, and, oops, let it. And glue it down. So, I mean, this is going to look good if you have a journal page. Let me see. If you have a journal page and you just stick it on the journal page, which I like because it lets this little edge out. So I can stick it down here. In here, have a place back here that I can slide stuff in. Plus, let me pull a couple more of these. Like, here's a dream and a create. And those would stick right down in there. So you've got 2 little extra tags. And, I can take these, are already decorated on the back. So, I mean, I don't have to, but you could put, your coffee dyed paper, make a couple little holes, put some ribbon in there, and you've got 2 little tags to fit in there. So, I'll leave those in there because we'll do that. So, there's a doily, a Rolodex. Let me grab an envelope. I have one. I know I've got an index card that goes. I've got a guest check. And my envelopes, I think, are down here. Okay, so I'm going to use a CD envelope. But let's go ahead and do these. So let's see. I've used 2, so I should have 3 left. Where's, oh, I've got the one that's big. The one that's big, I'm going to use over there. We'll just split it right up like this. And this I'll put on the side of my index card. And then I can use that as a pocket. I can turn it over this way, which actually looks really good because the brown's on it. Put it on there, and I can use it to journal on the back. So I can use it in a couple different ways. So let's go ahead and glue it down on here. So we have it ready to go when it comes, we get to a page and we need something in our journal, it will be ready to go. So yeah, I can glue it down on the corners, create a pocket to tuck stuff in, or just use it as a journaling card. Okay, and then we have our guest check, and this one I'm going to try to pull apart and fix. Yep, I can. Because it's one of those where when I coffee dyed it, it unglued and scooted around on me, so usually you can pull those off if you're really careful. And glue them right back, and voila, you're back to same old, same old. So I love these because I use the back end of it, and I have some graph paper, so I'm just going to be sort of random with it. Go some, I don't want to cover up all of it, but I want to create a writing space. Although you could write on this just the way it is. Sorry if you can hear the truck in the background. That's what happens when you have neighbors. Then I'm going to go ahead and ink around my edges. Especially neighbors with really loud trucks. Welcome to the country. So I'm going to ink around the bottom. And then again, I'm going to take it and sort of just age my page a little bit with my ink. I don't mind so much if there's some white, but I don't want it where it's almost, it looks odd and out of the way. Okay, there we go. Then I'll just put some glue around the back of it. I'm just going around the edges, nothing major. Right, like that. And like I said, these have all been coffee dyed. Yeah, I sort of like it off centered like that. Sort of dropping the edge, just give you a little bit of lines that you could use it for. And then flip it over. And I've got the big one here, and I think I'll use it. And let's see, I think we'll do around the edges of it, square the edges, and just do it as a pocket because of how big it is. And you could use this on an envelope as well. Oh, I did want to use it on an envelope. Daggone it. Okay, let me go ahead and put it on here, then I can ink around it. That's what happens when you grab the wrong one. And I could let that set, but I didn't want to have to deal with like, but we'll come back to this and fix that in a second. I was like, wait a minute, that didn't feel right. And then again, I'm going to make this one a little pocket because, I mean, why glue it all down if you can make a pocket? Even if you don't, you know, if you put it in your journal and you choose not to put anything in it, you always have it if you need a little bit of extra space. So there's that one. And again, you know, you've got your little pocket. And what I would do, like with these, is you could just glue across the top if you wanted to. So, I mean, you literally could lift up all the pages and write on them, or you could glue the back down, you know, so it's sort of up to you how you want to do. But then you have that page in there that you can write on. Okay, so let me put my lid on my glue for a second. Let me grab my ink and my old used up sponge. And I'm just going to try to ink around it. In spite of the fact that I already put it on there, you can usually get it. And I didn't glue the edges, so that made it a little easier. And I'm just going to, I'll come back around and get the edges in a second. Well, unless it's going to get the edges really good that way. Sometimes your sponge works, sometimes it doesn't. So even then that comes out really good, but I want to use it to put as a flip pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to worry about this inside lip because I'm gluing it down. So I'm just going to go and just ink it up a little bit. And I'm not using a lot of ink. I know it probably looks like I am. I'm actually not. It's okay. So there's my envelope. But I am going to glue this down as a flip. So I want to put a solid color something behind there, so you know it sort of covers up with this. So I'm going to pull out some of the solids that I have, and I think I'm going to put something blue back there because there's just a lot of blue there. So let me find a blue. I don't think I want that one. Something with a lot of blue in it. You know what? I think I actually like this one. Yep, if I can get a hold of it. It's sticking to my hand. It feels like there's 2 pages. I thought there was. Okay, so there's a little yellow in there, so I think I'll pull this top corner. All I'm going to do is, I don't have to worry about the edges because it's going to be hidden behind the corners, so I'm just going to take my pencil and draw along there. No big deal. And I thought I brought another pair of scissors in. Oh, I did. They're over here. These are just plain old Fisker fabric scissors, but I actually bought a pair to use with paper, specifically for paper. I have fabric shears, but I actually use Ginger scissors for, and then I don't have to worry about inking up because it's going to go straight in there. So this is the fun part. And put just a tad bit of glue, not a bunch. I mean, if you guys seen how little, I hope you can see how little. Hopefully I'm in frame and I'm not just over here working, talking to myself. I tend to pull things off the edge sometimes. I think that comes from being little, having little bitty arms. Okay, so this will probably be a tight fit because I measured around the outside. Let me trim a little bit of this off. Okay, I'm going to trim the white off. That worked out good, huh? Okay. Get over there for right now. Okay. Now, it will be more than well enough. It's just a matter of getting it in there with the glue. So let me pop it out, slide it in there. And you may have to work with it, and if it gets all fumbly, that's okay too. It's not a big deal. Because you will have to, it'll stick to every single thing in there, and you have to jam it in there and reach in there and sure it doesn't glue itself to itself, which is what it's doing in the corner down here. Bone folder, and I'm just going to go around the edges. It's sort of wrinkly through there. Okay, and then I always put a little bit more glue right here at the top once I get it in there, because it doesn't like to stick to the plastic sometimes through there. Okay. So, there we go. So we have that background in there. So now when we do a page, what I will do, slide it right like that, and it is good to go on the page. We got a pocket out front. Then when we flip this over, we'll have a pocket in there that we can put things in also. Sort of a little hidden pocket. And we could do something to decorate this side. You know, we may just put a little word or something. I'll work on decorating that once I put it in, because I don't know, you know, what that page would be that it's going to be stuck to. So our snippet bits today, we got a CD envelope, a guest ticket fixed, an index card, a Rolodex card, and a doily back. So we got that. We got our shaker tag frame. We got our card pocket. We got our 2 little notebooks. So slowly we are getting it together. So I will be back tomorrow with a little bit more that we're going to be doing for our spring journal, or our springtime in Paris. So you guys have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and we will be back tomorrow with a whole bunch of other stuff. So we will see you then. Have a great day. Bye.